The moment Suriya Vale saw her ex-boyfriend laughing beside his new fiancée in the middle of the crowded hotel lobby, the ground beneath her feet seemed to disappear. Her hands trembled around the folder she had carried to the interview. Her carefully pressed blouse suddenly felt too simple, her worn shoes too obvious, and the old scars she had spent 2 years hiding reopened all at once. Then, with tears threatening to spill from her eyes, she turned toward the tall stranger standing beside her and whispered the words that would change her life forever. "Act like you love me, please." The stranger looked down at her with surprise. He was dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Behind him stood assistants, security staff, and executives waiting for instructions. Everyone in the lobby knew exactly who he was. Kaelen Mercer. The young CEO millionaire whose technology company had transformed the city skyline and made headlines across the country. And in that painful moment, he was the only person who could save her from humiliation. Before we begin this unforgettable story, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Hub if you believe kindness and second chances can change lives. Your support helps us share more heartwarming stories that remind us humanity still exists. Suriya had never imagined her life would lead her here. At 26, she lived in a tiny apartment above a laundromat on the east side of the city. During the day, she worked at a neighborhood bookstore. At night, she delivered food orders on her old bicycle to pay the bills. 3 years earlier, she had dreamed of becoming an interior designer. She had earned excellent grades and received praise from her professors for her creativity. Her future looked bright until her father suffered a stroke. Medical bills piled up faster than her family could manage. Her mother took extra shifts at a factory while Suriya dropped out of college to care for her father and support the household. During those difficult months, the only person she thought she could lean on was her boyfriend, Tristan Hale. They had been together for 4 years. He promised he would stay beside her no matter what. But hardship has a way of revealing people's true character. When Suriya could no longer afford expensive dinners or weekend trips, Tristan slowly disappeared. His calls became shorter. His visits became less frequent. Then one rainy evening, he ended their relationship with a few cold words. He told her she had become a burden. He said he deserved someone more ambitious. 2 months later, she discovered he was dating the daughter of a wealthy real estate developer. The heartbreak nearly destroyed her, but life gave her no time to grieve. Her father needed medication. Rent had to be paid. Bills kept arriving. So she buried her dreams and kept moving forward. What Suriya didn't know was that her life was about to change because of a simple act of desperation. That morning, she had traveled across the city for a final interview at Mercer Innovations. A former professor had secretly submitted her old portfolio to the company after learning they were searching for junior designers. Suriya almost declined the opportunity. She no longer believed in luck. Yet something inside her told her to try one last time. When she arrived at the luxurious hotel hosting the company's annual leadership conference, she felt completely out of place. Then she saw Tristan. He stood near the reception desk wearing an expensive suit, his arm wrapped around a beautiful woman dressed in designer clothing. The moment their eyes met, she knew he recognized her. His smile carried the same cruel arrogance she remembered. He glanced at her worn handbag and inexpensive clothes before whispering something to his fiancée. Both of them laughed. Suriya wanted to turn around and run. Instead, she accidentally stepped backward into someone. She spun around and found herself staring into calm gray eyes. Kaelen Mercer. The CEO himself. She recognized him instantly from magazines and business articles. Desperation overwhelmed embarrassment. Without thinking, she asked him to pretend they were together. For a moment, Kaelen simply studied her face. He noticed the fear in her eyes. The humiliation. The silent plea for dignity. Then, without asking unnecessary questions, he offered his arm. He smiled warmly and said loud enough for everyone nearby to hear that he had been looking everywhere for her. The entire lobby fell silent. Tristan's expression changed instantly. Confusion turned into disbelief. His fiancée looked from Suriya to Kaelen, clearly struggling to understand how a woman dressed so simply could know one of the most successful men in the country. Kaelen guided Suriya toward the conference hall with effortless confidence. He never overplayed the act. He simply treated her with kindness and respect. And somehow, that hurt more than anything else. Because she had forgotten what genuine respect felt like. Inside the conference room, Kaelen quietly asked if she wanted to tell him what happened. Suriya apologized repeatedly, embarrassed by her behavior. She explained everything. Her father's illness. Leaving school. Working multiple jobs. Losing Tristan. Feeling invisible. Kaelen listened without interrupting. When she finished, he surprised her again. Instead of pity, he offered understanding. He admitted that people assumed his life had always been easy because of his wealth. What they didn't know was that he had grown up in foster homes after losing both parents at a young age. He built his company from nothing. He knew what it felt like to be underestimated. For the first time in years, Suriya felt truly seen. Later that afternoon, she completed her interview. She expected nothing. After all, candidates with advanced degrees and impressive resumes surrounded her. But Kaelen had personally reviewed her portfolio. He saw talent she had forgotten existed. Her designs reflected warmth, resilience, and creativity. A week later, she received a call offering her a position. The salary was more than she had ever earned. For several minutes, she sat on the edge of her bed crying tears she had held back for years. Life slowly began to change. She moved her parents into a better apartment. Her father started receiving proper treatment. Her mother finally reduced her exhausting work hours. Most importantly, Suriya rediscovered her confidence. At Mercer Innovations, she worked harder than anyone. She arrived early and stayed late. Her ideas impressed clients. Her designs earned praise. Months passed. Although she occasionally saw Kaelen during meetings, their interactions remained professional. Yet there was always something unspoken between them. He remembered small details about her family. She noticed how he treated every employee with respect, regardless of their position. Neither mentioned the day they first met. Until 6 months later. The company hosted a charity gala supporting healthcare programs for low-income families. Suriya attended wearing a simple navy dress she had almost talked herself out of buying. As she entered the ballroom, memories of her encounter with Tristan returned. But this time, she felt different. Stronger. Confident. Whole. Then she saw Tristan again. His engagement had ended after his future father-in-law's business suffered financial losses. The confidence he once wore so proudly had disappeared. When he approached her, regret filled his eyes. He apologized for abandoning her when she needed support the most. He admitted he had mistaken wealth for happiness. For a moment, Suriya remembered the pain he caused. But she also realized something important. She no longer needed his apology to heal. She had already moved forward. She thanked him for the lesson he unknowingly taught her. People who leave during your hardest moments make room for those who truly belong in your life. As Tristan walked away, Kaelen appeared beside her. Not as part of an act. Not because she needed rescuing. But because he wanted to be there. He told her he had admired her strength from the beginning. He explained that her resilience inspired everyone around her. And then, with a nervous smile that made him seem far less like a billionaire CEO and more like an ordinary man, he asked if she would join him for dinner. This time, there was no pretending. Suriya smiled through happy tears. The woman who once believed she had nothing to offer finally understood her worth. She learned that kindness can appear when we least expect it. That dignity matters more than status. And that sometimes the people who break our hearts simply guide us toward the people who will help heal them. Years later, whenever anyone asked how they met, Kaelen and Suriya always laughed. Their love story began with 5 desperate words spoken in a crowded hotel lobby. "Act like you love me, please." But what started as an act became something far more powerful. It became proof that genuine kindness can change the direction of a life. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Hub. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind people hope still exists. Special request: comment below with the words, "Kindness changes lives," if you believe one small act of compassion can completely transform someone's future. As the night of the charity gala ended, Suriya stood beside Kaelen beneath the warm city lights and realized something beautiful. The right people never make you beg for love. They show you, freely and consistently, that you matter. And sometimes, the greatest miracles begin on the day you think your life is falling apart.